this lesson is going to be very different from the remaining lectures. And that is primarily because today's lecture will primarily be me speaking and walking you guys through a PowerPoint presentation that we have. Moving forward, most of the lecture will be spent in Tableau. After today, you will have access to Tableau and all the online videos that we have before each lecture. And within the lesson, we will be spending the majority of time making sure that you fully understand Tableau, what it can do, and giving you a lot of training in Tableau so you can actually implement what you're learning in your actual work or your day-to-day job. So as we move through this, if you have any questions, please just feel free to chat or just speak up. We're not going to make this too formal of a classroom, so please let's make this informal. If I'm going too fast or too slow, or if there's something that you don't understand, please just feel free to interrupt me and we will pause and we'll make sure that everybody stays on the same pace as we move forward. So quick introductions. As you know, I will be the professor for courses 1 and 2. My background has always been in data analytics, primarily in statistics and doing research. In my careers, I have shifted from doing traffic safety research for the DMV, which I did for about 6 years, and that is where I got most of my data analytical expertise and statistical expertise. And from the DMV, I actually switched industries and went into the vision care industry, so vision health insurance. If you're from California, you most likely have a company called PSP, and that is the company we work with. And after that, after being in the vision industry for a little while, I actually jumped to Blue Shield of California and got into healthcare data analytics. At BSP, one of the biggest things that helped me out was I actually transitioned from data analytics to data visualization at BSP and learned about business intelligence and a lot of software that was out there that helped me make the next step in my career. And now at Blue Shield of California, I am a lead business consultant. And most of my time is spent, it's still in data, so I will never leave data fully, but it has been in data visualization and helping managers and program managers and executives look at their data differently, helping the organization shift over from doing standardized reporting through Excel or even SAS programming, that every other week you have a Excel chart with 100 rows of data that isn't summarized correctly, and people are producing these reports just to produce reports. So there is a big shift in the industry right now. It's going from Excel-based reporting to online or interactive dashboard reporting, which does make things a lot easier for managers and for the analysts who are producing these reports. And it helps the industry actually go from having separate data warehouses to actually creating a centralized system where a lot of this reporting can be done. If you are in the healthcare field or seeing a lot of various industries, you will be working with a company that has a lot of actual data management warehouses. And there's a lot of tools that you can use to actually program against those data warehouses. And one thing I've learned with data visualization, with Tableau especially, is you can actually help to centralize a lot of the reporting and actually make it much more interactive, where many people can go ahead and view the same dashboard at the same time. They can manipulate the dashboard in any way they want. And then in that sense, you don't have to create 5 or multiple variations of the same report just because one manager might want to see a different view of the data. In that sense, the beautiful thing about Tableau will allow you to do is not only can you create the dashboard and put it online for data access, you can actually allow the viewer to make slight changes. If they want to see different aspects, you can have them drill down into the data if they want very detailed data. So there's a lot of cool things that we will see as we move through this course. And I guarantee by the end of this, you will love Tableau. So aside from the data visualization and data analytics, which I love, my main hobbies are traveling and cooking. Traveling, me and my wife do try to do a big trip at least once a year. We fell in love with Europe, and we go to Europe quite frequently, almost every other year. And if not Europe, it is usually Maui, which is my personal favorite. Cooking wise, I always love to cook. I am making a transition into healthier cooking, which I think is just needed because I'm getting older. So I think I can't live off of fried food anymore. So moving forward, our course outline. Quickly just walk through the 5 or 6 weeks we have together in our course one. In today's lesson, defining data visualization and information design, we're mostly going to focus on why is data visualization important. This is a concept that is very new to the industry, and it is becoming something that I have to actually explain on a monthly basis to a lot of new people, and giving a lot of examples as why aren't we using Excel-based reporting anymore versus, hey, why is this a chart versus the table, or why is this more important? So today's lesson, we will focus on why is data visualization becoming very important. And then we will actually get into some of the techniques on how to make good visualizations versus bad visualizations, and some things that you're going to want to avoid as you begin your career. And as you get more expertise, you'll start understanding that although creating dashboards and doing data analytics is pretty straightforward with Tableau, they make it very, very user-friendly. A lot of the time you will want to spend on actually making the dashboard or your visual very appealing, and making sure that you're following a lot of the techniques that we're going to be showing you, so you don't make a lot of the design mistakes that you'll see later on today. In lesson 2, we'll get into, like I said, more of the visual design principles. So we'll teach you things that you should be doing in each one of your visuals, even in your dashboards, and then things to avoid. And as we go through all these design principles, they're not to say that you will never make a mistake. You will always make a mistake in your visuals. Someone that you might be working with will always have a different way of looking at the data. And one thing that we want to stress throughout this course is we do want to make this very peer-friendly. I want, as I've learned through my career and shifting from industry into industry, is that you will always want to help each other out. So if you have any questions, please ask each other, ask me, go online. I always emphasize that please use as many resources as you can. And that is just to say that the one thing I've learned in my career is that once you are working on a dashboard for a very long time, you in some ways get tunnel vision, as you believe that is the best way to look at your data, that is the best dashboard you can create, until you actually get feedback from a peer, or you have somebody else look at it with fresh eyes. And using that feedback, you can help enhance your visual and just help yourself in your career, as understanding that there's always going to be a lot of ways to look at the same data. And depending on what question is you're trying to figure out, or what your audience is, you're always going to be tweaking the dashboard. I don't believe that there is one dashboard I've actually put out there that I've never gone back to and, hey, refreshed or made it better, as I've learned new techniques, as I've learned new things within Tableau. In lesson 3, we will get into more of the data connections and data preparation with Tableau. So in lesson 2, we will start jumping into Tableau. I will show you all the functionality within Tableau, on actually how to use it, and all of the menu options that you have available to you. In lesson 3, we will actually get into importing data within Tableau, showing you which formats you can use to import data, where your data should reside, any filtering that you should do before you import within Tableau. And by filtering, I mean more of cleaning your data and making sure that it is going to play well within Tableau. And we will get into basic analytics within Tableau, which will lead us into lesson 4. So In lesson 4, we will have all of our data within Tableau. We will go over the one major data set that we will be using, the global superstore data set. And then we will start doing actual analytics. We will get into the basic charts within that are available within Tableau, what you can do and what you can't do, and then get into more of the analytical things within Tableau to make your visual more appealing. We'll continue that in lesson 5. We will continue to enhance your data visualizations. We will bring in some real world cases so you can actually see what companies, or what are companies actually doing with Tableau, or what are they actually doing with data visualization today. And there's a lot of cool things out there that companies are doing. I will provide examples from a lot of various industries, from the healthcare industry to traffic safety to software development, to a lot of what the Bay Area companies are doing, even with Twitter and Facebook, and how we can see how we can use what they're using or their designs and implement those in our own companies. And the final class in lesson 6 will be our project presentations. Throughout the 6 weeks that we will be together, you will be working on one project that will be enhancing every week. At the end of the 6 weeks, you will present that project to your peers, and you will turn it into me for grading. I'll cover the project towards the end of the course, or end of today's lesson. So if some students pop on, then we can go over it and answer any questions that you have. Okay, for student introductions, I did want to spend a little bit of time for each of you to go through and just tell me a little bit about yourself, just your name, your job title, what industry you're in, and whatever experience you have with data visualization and what you want to gain from this course. And as we begin that, I would like to show that this is one of your discussion questions for this week also. So for the students who are not here, please check that discussion forum frequently so you can see what your other peers are posting. And this is always just to make it very easy for you to see who you can work with or who might be in the same industry if you have any questions, and just to feed off of each other.
Great. So, Suk, what I'm going to do, I have the participant window open, and I'm thinking we'll just go down alphabetically because everybody's looking at everybody's screen a little differently. So I'm going to have Alex Andery, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Andery. My job title is Coordinator of Data and Analytics. So I work for the Napa County Office of Education, and this is a very new position. They actually just created it in April. So it never existed before. I'm sure people were doing data analytics along the way, but this is new for me. My experience with data visualization, I responded to the module question. I've been working with data entry for the past 4 years, and I've been doing a lot of data quality support throughout the county office, making sure that people are doing due diligence when it comes to entering data and making sure that the data is clean. I work within the student information systems and the California longitudinal reporting system. It's called CalPADS. So I've been doing this since April, and I have a very basic level of experience doing data visualizations. I did get Tableau in August, I think, and so I've been kind of self-taught with that. I haven't built out any dashboards, but I have been plugging in my Excel data to build out some visualizations for presentations for the staff. I also use a system called Forecast 5 Analytics. They're based out of Chicago, and they already have data visuals built into their system. They use public ed data and provide some analytic support on a monthly basis to me. And then Excel and Google Sheets and building out some visuals there, but it's always hard to decipher what data to choose to help the people that I'm working with, and then how to show that data so it's understandable and impactful for their decision-making process. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of the way of education right now. People are, they're on this path of continuous improvement and using data to make decisions. And that's really the role that I want to play. Incorporating data into everyday conversations and making graphs and tables just a part of the norm. So I think I want to learn how to do that in the best way possible and the most meaningful and impactful way for our staff.
Great. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
All right. So Angelica, let's have you introduce yourself if you're able. Barely hear you. Not well. I'll try. Well, let's see if you can go ahead and try talking, and then hopefully. It's all right. Maybe we'll test you later. So, Elizabeth, how about we try you? Elizabeth?
Yeah,
Hi, sorry. I was trying to find the button to unmute it, but you did it for me. I do something very similar to Alex, but I'm at Travis Unified School District, so to keep it kind of short and pithy, it's a very similar position to Alex.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
And what's your experience with DataViz?
I did a little bit on the development side with D3 from when I was developing applications, but I haven't worked with Tableau at all.
Well, you're in for a treat. I'll tell you what. I think it's more. I think it's easier than D3.
I can guarantee that.
That I can guarantee.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Fernandina, do you have a microphone?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Fernanda. I am in a coffee shop, so that's why I didn't put the camera on. I have worked with data. I am a monitoring and evaluation officer. I was doing that job in World Wildlife Fund, and over there they use Tableau, but I was just in my office using Excel. I found this program very interesting, and I'm very happy that I can work with this software and put the numbers that I have in these endless Excels and systematize in a way that is user-friendly and very interesting to show to the different audiences that I work with. Nice to meet you all.
Perfect. Thank you. So I just wrote a note to you all. If your microphone doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. We understand technical difficulties, but please, I want to encourage you to use the forum on the course just to introduce yourself as well. So if you're not able to do it tonight, don't feel free to do it there. I see Fu. Oh, did I say it right? Fu Fang. Did I say that one? Yes, I can type as my mic is not ready. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, just go ahead into the forum and introduce yourself. We'll move on. Ilda, you're on a computer but no microphone, if I recall. Let's see. Okay, so Jenny Lou.
Is my mic working?
I hear you, yes.
Okay, sorry. Hi, my name is Jenny. I work for Travis Unified School District as well. Alex pretty much covered everything about why we're taking this course. In terms of data visualization, in my undergrad, I was very intrigued by Excel and how you can manipulate stuff, so this is pretty cool to me. But as far as like data visualization now, there's just some SIS dashboards that we have, but I haven't really touched it much because it's not that easy. It's a little confusing. So yeah, I'm just hoping that this Tableau is going to be a lot better than what we have in our SIS.
Knowing what you guys have in the education system, probably.
I agree. I agree.
We're really hopeful for that.
All right. Jessica, do you have a chance to talk?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Jessica Bean. I'm a geologist with the State Water Resources Control Board. And I haven't used any specific data visualization software, but I do kind of create visuals and try to do that just, building. I used Illustrator for a long time just to take the information and put it that way. So my hope is just to learn a better software, a way to do that, make it hopefully easier. And my goal would be we have so much information and so many different potential uses, and just trying to narrow that down and find a good way to get that across to the public would probably be my biggest goal.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So my next one, I have a Joanne. Are you one of those that are on the, no, yeah, never mind. Sorry, Joanne, we'll get you. Julian.
Unmuted, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, my name is Julian Fulton. I'm a professor at Sacramento State University, and I teach environmental studies, and I also have a grant with the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, to do data visualization, a topic which I know very little about, although I'm trying to create a dashboard that will show some information on water and energy issues in California. And I'm working with some computer scientists who are much more knowledgeable about the back-end database side, and I'm just trying to learn more about the facing dashboard side, and hopefully make it into a cool website eventually.
Great. Thank you, Julian. We have Justin next.
Hello? Hello?
Yes?
Oh, hi. Okay, so my name is Justin. I'm currently a sophomore at UC Davis, but had to take a break because of a personal injury. So just during my break, I just want to keep on doing stuff. And I think data visualization is something that sounds cool to me that I just want to try to pick up because it's a life skill. Yeah. So I don't really have much experience, but just wanting to learn something new.
Well, Justin, I hope you're feeling better. And I can say safely that as a sophomore, when I was in college, taking more school was the last on my mind, but good job.
Yeah.
Next we have Kenneth.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kenneth Huang. I'm a physician informaticist working on Dignity Health Medical Foundation. So my daily work is working on large database and do analytical works, and then present them to the doctors, the RNs, and the management. So right now, I'm using the Microsoft SQL Server and the reporting services. So Tableau is the new thing for me. I believe it's very useful for the visual data presentation. So yeah, just try to learn new tool. I have a question though. So I know that for this course we have a 6 months student license. Yeah, but actually I just got my license on my Tableau license. So can I use my own license and my own data set to working on the project?
Yes, you can absolutely do that. For anybody who already has a Tableau, you can use yours.
Mm-hmm.
I will still hand you a 6-month license, and then if you need it or if you want to put it on a different computer to practice, whatever you want to do, it's yours. It's part of the course. We give it to you, so no worry.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kenneth. I realized I did skip one. Miss Joan?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. My name is Joan Isunza. I work for Caltrans in the IT performance management. I'd like to be able to display our budget information, also our IT refresh information on a statewide level, and be able to identify areas of need for attention based on our inability to see into the areas of the state where some of our technology is older and we don't have a good handle on it with regard to inventory. So I hope to be able to use that to our advantage to be able to stay up to date on technology.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm assuming, Kim, you do not have a microphone, so that's, you put yours in the chat. So Kim has introduced herself in the chat. So Megan? Megan? I just unmuted you, unmute. All right. Megan, I think you're having difficulty. I can't hear you. Oh,
I'm on the phone.
There you
and
go.
So I had to accept your unmute. My name is Megan Sullivan. I work for the water boards with Jessica Bean, but I am a scientist, not a geologist, and I actually have multiple reasons for being here. One, I'm actually the technical training coordinator for the water board, so we are kind of embarking on a lot of different data visualization kind of paths, and so it's, you know, checking out this course and maybe seeing if, you know, we might be able to steal Snook for some other classes with the our contract that we have with Extension for the water board.
Wait, now, hang on.
And also, you know, we work with a lot of data, and so it's, you know, seeing what our options are, what we can do with it. You know, most of us are all about Excel and then taking and making it pretty the best ways we can. So I know the water boards is definitely looking at Tableau licenses as one of our many options. So if that is the route that they decide to go, obviously training would be important.
Very true. All right. Thank you, Megan. Nav. Nav?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello everyone, I'm working in Apple as a hardware engineer, and I don't think I'm pretty much know about data visualizations, but I'm very much expert in PLC and SCADA systems. Like we are using a chip into integrations and VLSI in production systems. So it's a very new topic to me, but I was just thinking it's a very good and very popular in today's technology. So I'm undergoing to this one.
Excellent. Thank
you so much.
Yeah. All right, Sherry.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I work for a workers' comp company, and I'm learned Tableau kind of over the summer in kind of a rushed situation, and so it wasn't through any standard training, and so I know how to do some stuff, but I don't know if I do it the right way. I've pulled data in, I've created charts. The other day I used the mapping so that, you know, locations and longitude and latitude can show locations. But again, I'd like to know how to do things in the best way possible and visually pleasing. So
excellent. And Susan, finally, but certainly not the least. And she is asking also a question, Sue, so I'll let her introduce herself and she can ask her question. Oh, wait, unmute. There we go.
My name is Susan Gracia, and I live in Rhode Island. And I am a faculty member at Northeastern University. I teach in the Learning Analytics program there. And for a long time, I've been an educational, researcher and evaluation person. I'm often the external evaluator on evaluation or education programs that schools and universities run. And so I have experience with data visualization. I mean, for years I've been designing visuals in Excel or SPSS, which are not, especially SPSS is not pretty. I took a course in Tableau a couple of years ago, and I have used Tableau, but I don't feel very kind of fluent with it, or, I really would like to become more comfortable with it. And in education, dashboards are, the kind of a next big thing, or not the next big thing, but really popular. And I think visuals speak to people in ways that tables and text don't. So I'd really like to become more comfortable with Tableau. And the question I posted was whether we could have the option of using our own data for the final project, or whether I looked at week 1, and I know there are 3 data sets that are presented for the final project, but I just wondered if we could have the possibility of using our own data. So that's my question.
Sure. So, well, first, welcome everybody. That was really nice to hear that we have a lot of people from various industries. And as you'll see, a lot of things that you'll learn throughout Tableau and this course, you will all be able to apply in all of your various industries. Specifically to the data set, I think for the first course, we are going to restrict it to the data sets that we provide. And that is specifically just because I fully understand the data sets and I know what to expect, and I know how to troubleshoot a lot of the data sets if you have any problems with any of the analytics you're doing or the visuals are not coming out clearly. If we did allow you to use your own data sets, depending on which industry you're coming from, personally for like healthcare industry, I know the data is very messy. So the education industry, I'm not sure how messy the data is, but it will become a little bit, actually a lot harder for me to troubleshoot and help you out, because I'm not, one thing you will understand throughout Tableau is that Tableau will, 99% of you it will give you a visualization, but to understand if that visual is right is something you need to know because of your data. So if I don't know the data well enough, I won't be able to tell you if Tableau is doing the analytical part of it correctly and if the visual is actually portraying what the data is saying. So for those reasons, I think we'll limit it to the 3 data sets we've given you for this first course.
Sue, can I also mention, you also want to be careful about what data people are sharing, and that's another piece of it, because to share your visuals with each other, it has to go on the public domain.
Yes. So data privacy is a very big thing. Thank you for mentioning that, Jennifer. And definitely, and that's the best way we've learned. But that is not to say that if you do have a specific question regarding your own personal data, or if you have a visual that's not working out, please, you can set up one-on-one time with me, or just shoot me an email and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, and I can walk you through it the best as I can. Zoom is a great tool to use, so if we ever want to set up a one-on-one session and I have time available, I'd love to help out, and just, as long as there's no data privacy issues, please show me what you're doing, and I'll be able to help you walk through it. Okay, let's get this started for today. So why is data visualization important? One of the things that we're going to see, and a lot of people, a lot of the students you shared, is that there is a big jump going from looking at data in tables and summaries into actually looking at data visual, a nice visual, and being able to absorb a lot of data. And that's one of the biggest things about data visualization, is that we want to create visuals that are appealing, and where the user is going to be able to look at the visual, take away the necessary information very quickly. If one thing you will see is if you have a table you're giving somebody and they only want to look at one line of data, it will take them time to go through the actual data sets, go through, assuming it's one page of data, to actually find the information that they need. Tableau and interactive dashboards do allow the user to get to the actual answer very quickly. It will allow them to filter down, drill down. If they can't find their answer right away, it will be there much quicker than looking at large tables of data. Another thing about data visualization is that it will understand what you need to do next. A lot of the summary tables that are created in Excel, one, they're really hard to work with and formulas do break and there's a lot of issues that come up. Online dashboards do help you understand or let the user understand what information do I need from this dashboard, how can I maybe download this dashboard or download the data behind it, and then what do I need to do next for the next quarter or the next year to improve my data. Similar to connecting the dots, just fully understanding what trends are happening in their data. It is very, very easy to look at a chart or to look at a geographic map and understand what is happening with your data versus looking at it through a table and trying to figure out what trend am I looking at? Is this increasing year over year? Is this decreasing? Is there a specific pattern within this data that I can get from a visual versus an actual table? Finding the outliers. This is one big thing within data that I'm sure everybody has come across once or twice in their life. You will always find anomalies in your data. Outliers are never to be ignored. They're always something that you have to take care of and address. And it is very, very easy and very quickly you can view an outlier on a data visualization versus somewhere in your data in a data table within Excel or within a pivot table within Excel. It makes it very difficult to find. One thing I love about data visualization is that you will actually keep your user's attention. I've looked at many tables in my life, looked at Excel for hours in my life, and I guarantee when I'm looking at an Excel workbook versus a nice chart within Tableau, I will always spend more time looking at the chart and figuring out what do the colors mean, what do these shapes mean, what are the filters that I can use with this, is it interactive compared to an Excel document where I'm going to get bored very quickly and get frustrated if I can't find what I need very quickly. And another last thing is you'll always be able to memorize important insights very quickly, and you'll be able to act on those insights quicker. It's always, I'm sure everyone has gone through it too, memorizing what you see is always very easy when you have a picture in your head versus I'm trying to remember a specific number from a specific row, which makes it very difficult to do. I always remember pictures, and if I can identify a trend, I know what that trend is, and I always have that visual in my head versus trying to figure out what I am looking for in data tables, which does make it a little bit harder. So why visualize? There are advantages of visualizing data and there are disadvantages. And this is in no way are we saying that every single data table or data set that you come across has to be visualized. Some data sets are better visualized just as a data set, as a data table, and we will go through those and show you, for some reasons, why it's okay to keep a data table as it is and not turning it into a visual. And on the other hand, why take some data sets and turn them into visuals. So some of the advantages that we just went through also, you will always be able to compare things much quicker in a data visual compared to a data set, especially if you're comparing multiple items to one another. It is much easier to do with data visualization. It's easier to see the data trends or patterns with visualization. And as we go through our course, we will get into identifying which charts you should be using with specific data sets, which make it much more easier to realize what the data trend is versus looking at a static dashboard or a static report and trying to figure out what your data is doing. One great thing about visualizing data within Tableau is you can always focus on or highlight specific parts of the data that are very important to do. Within Excel and looking at PDF reports, it's very difficult to highlight very important things. unless you summarize your data in a specific way. But within Tableau, there's a lot of filtering you can do. There's a lot of highlighting and annotation pop-ups that you can do, which make it very easy for the end user to understand that, yes, I do have a lot of data within this dashboard, and I do have a lot of different visuals, but what are the 5 or 10 top things I need to get out of this dashboard? And you can design your dashboard to focus on those highlights. So they come to the dashboard, understand how to use the dashboard, and then walk away very quickly with those 10 highlights at the back of their head. Some disadvantages. As you'll see, we will provide a few examples. It is very easy to mislead or miscommunicate data with individuals. Sometimes getting down to the actual data set and to the data table and seeing what data is behind the visual is very important. Especially for managers or executive level employees, that if they don't understand the data well enough, visuals can mislead what they should be saying. Some data visuals do remove details that are sometimes very important. And you will see as we move through this, like I just said, that sometimes it is okay to leave a data table as a data table. And sometimes it's okay to combine a data table with a data visualization. So you give the end user both options, and you can see what the highlights out of the data table are being shown as a data visual, because those are the more important things that you want them to see. But if they still want to see the data set or the data summary, it's going to be available for them also. Some data dashboards can become very dense, and we will walk you through this. This is something that you will work on throughout your entire career of data visualization, is how to make a great data dashboard, how to make a great visual that isn't showing too much, isn't overbearing for the end user, how to use colors appropriately, how much information should you actually give the end user before they just can't understand what you're even saying and they get lost in the data or they get lost in the visual. So some data visualization types. We will go through a lot of these once we're actually in Tableau, and we will show you very, very good examples. We have 2D and 3D data. We know that you can look at timelines, time series, Gantt charts are very, very big in Microsoft Project and in Excel. I'm sure everybody has tried to make a Gantt chart within Excel in their past. That's never turned out too well. Multi-dimensional visualizations, pie charts, histograms, bar charts, scatter plots. These are all that are very well known in the data industry. These are very well known within Tableau, and we will go through each and every one of these, show you how to create them within Tableau, and also show you the advantages and disadvantages of using specific types of charts depending on the data that you have. And that is one thing that we will push through this course, is depending on the type of data that you have, you really want to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what is going to be the best chart to use to display this data. And we will show you some very bad examples also, so you don't make those mistakes. Hierarchical data, there's tree maps and vertical trees. A network or a matrix visualization. And let's get into some good data visuals. Before we move on, are there any questions up to this point? Any questions on the chat, Jennifer? Awesome.
But I will say we're at 13 minutes left. How time flies when you're having fun.
I know. So we'll go through, I won't go through all the examples just to keep everybody on time for the first lesson. But for good data visualizations, one thing that we really want to stress is making sure that you choose the right chart. We will go through a lot of examples throughout the course on what data is good and what chart you should be using with specific data. Making sure that your visual has a very clear point. Making sure that the visual is actually answering the questions it was made to answer. In the end of all of this that we teach you and throughout your career, you want to learn that less is sometimes more. And you don't need to throw a lot of data at everyone or include all of the data possible within a dashboard. But some dashboards are just better when you keep it simple. Using color intentionally, we will show how color is very, very helpful on dashboards, and in a sense, only to use color when it's actually necessary. Emphasizing key points, we want to make sure that you can highlight what you need. And few more, looking at the information, looking at your data accuracy. We will definitely go through, as you bring in data through Tableau, making sure that your data is accurate, making sure that you're not misrepresenting the data, because your data visual will make it pretty clear. And as you can see with this in this visual, a successful visualization is merging of information, your concept of your story, the function of the dashboard, and the beauty of it. And once you have all four of these in a great dashboard is when you can actually step back and let a user try it out. And the end goal of the dashboard should go back to the questions it was actually trying to answer. And in the end, if that dashboard is not answering the questions that it was made to answer, there was a problem at some point within these four categories. Some common data visual mistakes. We'll go through a few of the examples. We won't go through all of them. One is percentages. Everybody loves working with percentages. I'm sure they're in the education field, from healthcare to a lot of the industries that we've gone over. And everybody, one thing you want to do is, if you are using a pie chart, please make sure that your percentages do add up to 100%. It is always very nice to see, hey, that, for with this specific segment, you had a specific percentage, and for all the other ones, you have certain percentages, but when they don't add up, it does make it very confusing as what is going on with this data set. And one thing I've learned throughout my career is once one bias or one question gets into the user's end mind, it deteriorates the rest of the dashboard. So you really want to make sure your dashboard is very clean. Using the wrong type of chart. I won't go through this whole chart, but just looking at it, I couldn't tell you what it was trying to do. We are looking at bar charts, but there is a lot in here in this chart that is very unnecessary at this point, and it distracts the end user. Too much information. This is something we will cover and we will cover and we will cover many times, is how much information is too much information in the dashboard. We want to limit the information in the dashboard so the end user can actually use the dashboard and not just have to spend too much time trying to figure out what they're doing. Inaccurate scaling, we will cover this in our charts, as want to make sure that we are representing our data correctly. These were just a few more examples on trying too hard to be different. Sometimes a simple graph or simple chart is what works. Not every dashboard has to be, a brand new idea or a brand new dashboard. Sometimes you want to just use a simple dashboard to get your point across. Similar to here is just the presentation of your axes, making sure that we are not misleading the end user. And here we go on just too much data, too much information that's actually in the dashboard, which makes it very difficult as trying to figure out what these dashboards were trying to do, what comparisons they're trying to make. And it makes it very difficult for the user to actually go into the dashboard and extract the data that you need without spending a lot of time trying to figure out what the dashboard actually is. Some data visual mistakes, arranging data non-intuitively. As we go through our course, we will not focus on making pie charts, but if we do focus on pie charts, one thing to always remember is when we have a lot of different colors and a lot of data points here, you do want to make your legend actually legible with what you're looking at. To go from what's actually happening on the actual visual to the legend, there has to be some consistency. There has to be some pattern with it. misrepresenting data with 3D charts or misrepresenting data at all. We will show many visualizations on misrepresenting data, and this is something you should really try to avoid. And some good and bad visualizations. I only have I'll cover a few, and then we will go over any questions. Here is a bad visualization showing number of fatalities within each of these segments, but just off the top of my head, I don't know why we have all of the different types of colors. We don't know why this design is even here. Not at the top of my head, I would believe that this in a bar chart would just make much more sense, and you can move on. This is just a lot going on here. If this was a dashboard that somebody gave me on trying to understand how to go from fundamentals of data to data munging, data ingestion, to a toolbox, there is just too much going on in this dashboard, and the end user would actually have to spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. Here is a great example of using good axes and actually highlighting data that you want to see. Top 1% owns 33.8%, but of what? We do have axes here, but you can see that there are bar charts within the axes. Bottom 50% owns it. So there's just a lot of misclassification of data here that just was not represented correctly. Here's a cool interactive dashboard. This is something that you will always want to try to get to, is make a nice interactive dashboard. This is showing home prices. So if the end user wanted to see how much rent they would have to pay or how much they actually have to put towards a house, depending on how long they actually plan to stay there, and what their cost and rent should be, this is a very, very nice, very well-built dashboard. And as you can see, it's very interactive, it's straight to the point. There is the use of tables with the use of actual interactive charts. And there's a nice legend here on how to actually read the chart, which we have not seen yet, which makes it very, very helpful for the end user if they have questions. Couple here, just a nice use of marital status by age. We have age on our x-axis and marital status, and nice use of colors that does make it visually appealing. Here's a nice dashboard from Twitter showing the tweets per hour on any given day or time. And this one is not interactive, but you go online, I will provide the data set for you. And at any given point throughout the day, you can see how many tweets are occurring per hour and where in the world. It's very, very visually appealing graph. And there's, once you're actually in the interactive part of it, you can actually drill down to a lot of the data that they're providing.
Hey, Suk, is the colors mean anything on that last one?
I think the colors are based off of your region. So could be for region. I'm not sure. I did not pull the legend down, but yeah, it's really nicely built out. And so it's a great thing to mention, Jennifer, is that any of the visualizations we're showing here, the sources will be provided. So if you actually want to click on the source and go to the website, and you can actually play with these interactive dashboards and see what they're doing. Some of them, if they are available within Tableau Public, you will be able to download the actual dashboard and download the data set behind them, and you can actually play with it on your own and see, hey, how did they actually come up with this dashboard? Okay, as we're closing up here, just want to cover the course project quickly. So throughout the course, we are going to be building upon each week. What you're learning is going to be building upon what you learned last week. We want you to get to a point where you are able to create a nice visual that can be a standalone visual. For the first week, I do want you to start considering what you actually want to make a visual of. So we're saying develop a question you want to answer, but it doesn't have to actually be a question. It can just be, this is the data set we're looking at, the global superstore data set, And this is what I want to try to create. If it's looking at orders per month, if it's looking at the geographic regions and drilling it down to which types of products are being bought by specific types of customers, just write it out. So we just want you to have an understanding of this is the end goal of your data visualization. This is what I want to create. And as we move through the course, we will help you create that. And in that, we will want a quick executive summary write-up. And in this executive summary, all of this is detailed actually online on Canvas. And in the executive summary, we really just want you to go through the process of what you learned. What did you start out with? What was your data question? Which data set did you end up using out of the 3 that we have available? Were there any lessons learned? And then what were the actual results of your analysis? So you started with your question, you have your data set, and now this is the end result of it. And what does it actually mean? On week 6, we will be presenting these visuals. We will be breaking up all of the students into smaller teams, and you will be presenting to each other to get feedback. I will also be working with each one of you throughout the course, and in week 6, working with the groups to help you on your visual, make sure that you are fully understanding what the visual is doing, and if there's something that you want that you don't know how to do, either your peers or I will help you make that visual. And then you'll be turning in the final visual for a grade. So next time, just to cover over what we're going to do next week. Next week, we will start getting into Tableau. If there's any Tableau questions between now and next week, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will make myself available this weekend. If there is a question on setting up Tableau or you're having any type of issues, please let me know. And if I can't figure it out, Jennifer will get an email. But next week, we will be in Tableau. I will show you how to use it. We will spend some time making sure that everybody's at the same pace, that everybody has access to Tableau, that you fully understand what it can do. We'll go through a lot of the menu-driven options of Tableau, and we will get into some of the analytical features of Tableau, shapes, color, sizes, some things that you will use 100% of the time when you're in Tableau. And as we progress to the following weeks, we will get into more detailed aspects of Tableau. We will also cover declutterization. So we will present you with one visual that has a lot of information and how to take that visual and make it more appealing and less just decluttered. So we're not throwing too much information at the end user. I also do want to just go over these 3 data sources that please go to these data sources when you have time. And these are not the only 3, but I think they do provide a lot of expertise. There's a lot of data sources and a lot of data dashboards on these websites. So please feel free to take your time to play around with them. The Tableau website has a lot of information on there. Tableau Public is it's a public website for Tableau dashboards, where you can build your own dashboards. If you have your own data, you can upload dashboards, and you can look at what other people are doing within their own fields. There's tons of dashboards for you to download and you can play around with, and it's a great source to have. And then this last one is just storytelling with data. It's just a great blog that I've come across that I really love to check out, and there's a lot of different dashboards on there and how to just tell your story better with data. And it's always changing, and there's always cool dashboards that are being put on these websites. So please stay up to date. And if there's a resource that you have that we don't have, we will create a discussion board on Canvas where please post your resource out there for all of your peers to utilize as best as they can. And any questions? I think I might be a little bit over, but 2 minutes. So is any questions in regards to the course, what we've covered, or what we're going to cover in the next 5 or 6 weeks?
Hello, yes, I have a question. So in the case of the slides, is it possible to have access? Because I seen in the web page and that there is access to the recording sessions. Is it possible to have access to the slides as well? And where, if the answer is yes, where I can find them?
So the recording will be available in the next couple days. It takes us a little while to get it up into the course.
Yeah, but my question is if, besides the recording, if we can have access to the slides.
Oh, to the slides, yes.
Yes, the slides will be available as soon as we get them uploaded. So by the time the recording is online, you'll also get the slides.
Great. Suk and everybody, I'd like to make a quick announcement too on the course. So UC Davis Extension is working to put up a new methodology for you as learners to showcase what you're learning. We're using digital badges or digital credentials, which essentially gives you an icon with associated metadata that tells the world what you've done with this course. You can put it up on your LinkedIn and you can put it up on your Facebook and etc. You have to earn the badge. It's criterion based, meaning you achieved something, you can do something. And the criterion for this course is you perform the final product, you deliver the final project that Suk described. He grades it. It's an 80% threshold to get the badge from the project. And because there's so much collaborative work in this course, we'd like you to attend 5 of the 6 sessions at least, also to get the badge. So, you know, as you pursue that, I wish you the best, and we'd love to have your feedback after you're all done as to the utility of this new way of showing the world what you've done.
Okay, if you guys, if there are no other questions, feel free to enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will be sending you all Tableau licenses tomorrow, hopefully before noon. If you don't hear from me by then, ping me. So take care, everybody. Thank you. And it was nice meeting you all.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Oh, Justin, attendance is recorded. I actually have a little cheat sheet of, I took notes of who's here and who's not today. So that's how either Suk or I will be watching the attendance. So thank you.
Bye-bye, all.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.